Today I would like to share with you a bit more about what intuitive art is really about. It is difficult to explain it, but I will try my best to do that based on my experience with it over many years since I was a child. The best thing about intuitive art is that you will need no eraser, because if you allow it to flow from you, it will flow in a sense of harmony and perfection that you may not have experienced before. Intuitive art is just a type of art that flows in few moments of calm and surrender, using the hand as a tool or as a bridge for the image to pass through. From the invisible to the visible, the image has always been there in one singular point of time. We just cannot or could not really see it on paper. I personally create or draw nothing that is not already there in my experience somehow. I just trace it into visibility and into existence. In our definition of existence, because between the visible and the invisible, we are at the center of the experience. What is visible for us may be invisible for other life forms or energies, or beings, or things that exist in this vast universe. But we define visibility and invisibility as it reflects in our minds and as we understand it, with the capacity that we have so far and whatever stage we reached in our evolution as humans. But the drawing or subject matter or forms on paper are somehow already there, and every intuitive artist may have experienced this. It's difficult to explain sometimes, but this is how it is and has always been. This happens only when there is no goal or idea to paint or draw something in specific. It happens when the artist, in that case myself, just sit with a blank piece of paper and let go. It is just being there in service of whatever wants to be drawn or brought forth on the paper. The forms or lines could have been registered in my unconscious. The image could have been memorized by my hands somehow. But what it starts with and what it ends with is completely unknown to me at the beginning of the drawing and sometimes throughout the drawing. As though I am simply a vessel, and only when I am empty of my ideas these forms come to pass through me. Just like a woman when she's pregnant and her body allows a soul to grow in her and pass through her body as a being with physical entity, and that's where Gibran Khalil Gibran says that your children are not yours, they are for life. And in other words, if the body enters and goes through you, if the soul goes through you, it does not mean that it is yours. You are just the vessel through which it decided to come. And similarly, as an artist, when we create intuitive art, it's not like the image or the artwork that we created is ours entirely. It is not. It just passed through us, and we are the vessel and the tool for it to come alive on paper, to come into existence, and to come into visibility. Likewise, these forms, shapes, meanings are allowed to pass through an artist's hand. Now, if you wish to practice intuitive art, You may need some skill. Over time, with practice, you'll be skilled in drawing, but you will mostly need intuition and trust, and a sense of letting go of all your prejudgments, ideas, goals, or, preconceived perceptions about a subject matter or a shape or a form. Again, I just reveal what wants to come on the paper, and often that it feels somehow like the channel is over when I complete the drawing. The channel or the passage is done or closed. I just feel that, okay, now the drawing is done. It's a certain feeling of completion, like you had something to share on paper that came through you, and then you're done, and that's how you know that the drawing is over and you don't need to add anything to it. When it flows like that, lines meet up in some really fascinating way. You draw a shape at the top and another line at the bottom, and somehow when you're drawing and flowing with the art, even though this shape and this line have nothing to do with each other and each one is sitting at different corners of the paper, somehow when you're drawing you will see how they will find each other. The line will connect to the shape somewhere, and it will feel like they are connecting in perfect harmony and in a perfect way, as though they are smarter than your own sense of connecting shapes. That's why you don't need an eraser when you are very immersed in intuitive art, and it is a very meditative process in itself. When you leave things to flow through you, there are no mistakes, no U-turns, only imperfect perfection and harmony, because things will fall into place the way they should, the way they already are over on this paper.